Bang.
Welcome back. Great to be back with CJ and Monty. I am Jon Najarian. Up on top of the screen there, that's CJ, and Monty's got the stripes, which is, I guess, a good thing you're not in prison, Monty, because I don't know about those stripes. I don't know how you'd look in stripes on a regular basis.
Yeah, I don't think I last very long in prison, John. I think that's a pretty safe bet.
It's kind of funny that in the old days it was always black and white stripes on the prisoners, right? Didn't matter where. If they were in the South, they had some sort of baggy white and black striped pants, and same thing with the top. And these days it's all orange. Orange is the new black and white.
It really is. Yeah, I remember from those from those old school cartoons I'd watch. All the prisoners like in the chain gangs, they're always dressed in like the big black and white pajama looking outfits.
Yep. You guys remember the "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou"?
Oh yeah, Coen brothers.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, Coen brothers, and I think George Clooney, if memory serves, right?
Yeah,
I think he was in that one too. They did a couple. Raising Arizona was also John Goodman and was it Nicolas Cage? They were breaking out of a prison or something like that at the very beginning of the movie, and they just come out of the mud. They just tunneled out of the prison or something. Anyway, it's not what you guys tuned in for. Sorry to go that direction, Monty.
No, you're good. I'm glad people have that comparison in their mind of me and a convict now. But let's get into it, because there is some pretty interesting stuff to talk about. I wanted to start off with a pretty interesting news piece, and then CJ had some pretty interesting options data as well that I'd like to get to. But first, let's hit this, because this is some news that broke yesterday. New York Giants star running back Saquon Barkley will be taking all his future endorsement money in Bitcoin. This was a deal that was, helped along by Jack Mallers, the CEO of Strike. He's also a Chicago native. So well done, Jack. And yeah, I think this is big news. There's been a lot of talk of NFL players taking signing bonuses in crypto. And Saquon Barkley is a, bona fide star in the NFL. This guy, he's coming off a big injury, but, I believe in him. I'm actually a big fan of him personally. I think he's, a world-class running back. So to have this caliber of athlete, taking on their endorsement bonus in Bitcoin, I think is, very encouraging for the long-term, outlook that people will have on Bitcoin in general. And also Saquon Barkley, it's like, this isn't going to be a non-significant amount. Saquon Barkley is one of the most highly endorsed athletes in the NFL. He's got deals with Hulu, Nike, and many others. So this guy makes a lot of endorsement money. That's all going to be Bitcoin now. So there you go. Saquon Barkley, good on you, man. Taking your endorsement money in Bitcoin. And yeah, Jack Mallers and Strike, well done for brokering this deal. I'm sure this is the first of many athletes that will go down this route.
Yeah, I think you're right. And we got to get that one guy. I've got to check up on him too and see if indeed, guys, he's in camp. Because if he's not in camp, I'm sure we can get him on the show. He's a big Bitcoiner, and he was the first NFL player to be paid completely in Bitcoin.
Russell Okung.
Yeah. Actually, no, I think the one you're thinking of is a offensive lineman, Matt.
This
is a tight end.
Oh, okay.
Who played for San Diego and then the Chiefs, and I'm not sure if he's been picked up or not. I hope he has. And if you're listening, let us know. Good guy. Anyway, let me throw this one out. I like the Saquon Barkley news. I was watching on Sentiment all these different levels because they track a bunch of different indices. And I thought that the viewers might get a little more insight or depth out of this. 1.4 trillion, that's the total market cap of crypto right now. It's down about 5% in the last 7 days. And they go through a whole bunch of other breakouts of that. Like, for instance, the ERC20 or Ethereum-based projects are about 463 billion of that 1.3 trillion. And they're down about the exact same amount, about 4.9% over the last 7 days. But then we go down here, guys, and this is where I think you guys will find it interesting. NFTs. Now granted, this is a small part of a $1.4 trillion market cap for cryptocurrencies, but $9.3 billion already in NFTs, and they're up 20.5% in the last 7 days. So a lot of us focus all the time on just the coins themselves, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, all the different versions of altcoins off of either Ethereum or EOS or whatever. But NFTs are up 20% in the last 7 days. I thought that was really interesting. And that's why I just wanted to throw it out again. That's from Santiment, SANTIMENT, santiment.net. They track all that kind of stuff. And by the way, Brazil approved an Ethereum ETF that's going to be trading on, I think they call it the B3 down in Brazil, which is a lot of volume. This is not like a sleepy little backwater. They trade a lot of volume on the B3. And to have a straight out Ethereum ETF, I don't know the fees and so forth on it. I will get that. But I thought this was interesting news. And one of these days we'll get one in the US, but I think the biggest impediment, guys, is just how do you determine with this disparate pricing all over the world, some of which is somewhat suspect, how do you determine what the actual price is for settlement purposes and so forth? That's a problem.
Yeah, there are definitely, some significant hurdles to overcome in that ETF implementation here. But we have, covered some pretty interesting stories over the last couple of weeks that are encouraging in the sense that, it seems like they're working to overcome that hurdle with BNY Mellon and Grayscale working towards that ETF could be promising. But back to what you're saying about NFTs, John, we noticed that as well. Engine and Mana have been two of the best performing assets of the week. And I think a lot of that has to do with, I'm not too sure if you guys heard of Axie Infinity. It's this new NFT project. It's basically, it reminds me a lot of CryptoKitties, CJ, because you have like these little pets that you buy. There's different rarities of these pets. And this thing has taken off, and it's taken a lot of the sector with it. And this is just, for me, another example that, NFTs are not just some flash in the pan niche. Like, there will always be demand for this sort of thing. And cryptocurrency is well suited to serve that exact purpose of, digital scarcity, and ensuring that, there is a limited amount of these various, whether they be characters or in-game items, whatever. I actually read a story about a guy who bought property in Axie Infinity, similar to how you can do in Mana, and he flipped it for over 1,900% profit in just over 8 months. So, I mean, there's real money being made here. These are legitimate projects with, real world parallels, and they're starting to attract some real world capital as well. So encouraging to see, I'm a fan of the NFT space. So I'm always encouraged by that positive sentiment. So thanks for sharing, John.
Sure.
Yeah, Monty, you'll also be going to a trading card conference here at the end of the month. We'll be reporting live from that, so stay tuned. I'm sure they're going to have some very interesting NFT plays, and it's not some passing fad. I think it is really here to stay. To your point about Mana, massive spike in volume. I checked relative trading volume today. It was up 240%. It's coming down a little bit with the entire market, as we go below 32K, but it's rallied in spite of the weakness today. And I think that is somewhat notable.
Yeah, I completely agree. And CJ, one thing that I wanted to definitely touch on today is what you kind of found while you're digging around on Ledger X. And that is some pretty impressive options volume that's taking place on, what is that, the December expiration here?
Yeah, the end of the year.
So yeah, you want to talk about that and what that could potentially mean for price? I know we're not seeing too much, in terms of current price action, but there are apparently some people taking some big bets on future price action. So what are you seeing with this big trade here?
Yeah, I would also love Dr. J's input on this as well in a moment, but somebody took a big bet this morning, bought 3.8 million, strike price on Bitcoin, 50,000, expiration December 31st, 2021. So end of the year, somebody thinks Bitcoin's going way over 50,000 and they just put down 3.8 million because they think that's what's going to occur. And this is a retail brokerage. This is not like a Deribit or something that has much more liquidity. So I thought this was very, very interesting and pretty notable. But
and they did that one on the CME, CJ?
On Ledger X.
Ledger X, sorry. Okay. That is interesting. I mean, I heard CJ Willie Woo was on the Pomp podcast. I think it was Willie was on there yesterday. And he was saying that his, he's a statistician, and he says, hey, all my work still says we're going to 157,000. And he says, if we, this is an accumulation area, roughly 30,000. And this band from 30 to 35, he thinks is accumulation, and that we're going to break to the upside. And when we do, he said, then I might have to adjust my target, because he said, I'm still looking for 6 figures by the end of the year. I know you guys, that stock to flow model says if we don't see 6 figures by the end of the year, stock to flow doesn't work, because that's their, line in the sand. They have said they think 100. So for somebody to put 3.8 million down in upside calls that have, let's look at it, August, September, October, November, December, 5 months to live, might not be such a bad bet if you have, that kind of conviction. It's a lot smarter getting a leveraged bet like that down, because let's say that it twiddles its thumbs, Bitcoin that is, for the next 3 months. Yeah, you're going to lose on time decay, but probably not as much as if every time it trades 30, you try to scalp it and end up getting scalped. So that's an interesting play. Here's another one, by the way. This isn't an options play, but I was looking, and the most common terms being used right now in crypto are moons, M-O-O-N-S, moons, it's up 147%, the use of the term moons. Let's see, Binance is down 57%. People aren't talking about Binance nearly as much on crypto Twitter and so forth, even though, of course, they're using it. And this one won't surprise you based on what I said earlier about NFTs being up 20% over the past 5 days. NFT, the use of that phrase or that acronym on crypto Twitter, and which includes, by the way, also our scans of Wall Street bets and so forth on Reddit, up 5.3%. So the optimists out there are saying moons and NFT an awful lot on crypto Twitter and on Reddit. And I thought that was interesting because we haven't seen a lot of things mooning lately. Mooning, of course, meaning, to the moon, that a currency might be just zooming to the upside. And we saw a lot of that, of course, in February, March, and into the end or middle of April. But since we've broken that fever, we haven't seen nearly as much in the mooning phase ever since, Elon started being the godfather of FUD instead of the godfather of Doge.
Yeah, John, not much mooning happening in this market at all. And I think a great example of that is what we're seeing with ETH. A lot of people in the room were kind of excited that yesterday. I was pretty excited too about the prospect of maybe a nice bounce off this critical level of 1886. We got this, green hammer candle here on the TD Cell 7, but there was just not enough volume coming in for this thing to have any sort of bounce at all. I thought a move to this smooth moving average would be possible. We've seen that in the past. It's kind of acted as a magnet for price, as CJ likes to say, but we just didn't get any volume. And now we're back right kind of where we ended 2 days ago, retesting this 1886 level as support. So not too encouraging stuff here from Ethereum. This kind of descending triangle formation that we're seeing with a lot of assets lives on. And I think that, a retest of this level of about 1770 here, where we wicked down a few times earlier in the month or earlier in the year at the, the end of May, beginning of June, I think that retesting these levels is looking more and more likely as we continue to see, less and less effective bounces off critical levels, even with, somewhat bullish candles. So we're getting some, very lackluster volume. I think that's kind of the theme throughout the crypto space, but you're right, John, not a whole lot of mooning happening in this market right now.
Yeah, but a lot of talk, a lot of people hoping, and hopium is running rampant apparently. Let me throw out one for people to watch today because as far as a Doge of the day, Pancake Swap. I don't know what you guys think of cake, symbol CAKE, but this is one that I like to try to think that I can pick occasionally a decent level. 1350, I'd love to get it there. It's 1387 right now. Last week it nosed over 1450 a couple times, all the way up into the 1560 range. And to be able to take maybe a buck and a half out of this coin, I think would be reasonable. And if we see, stabilization and or money flows into, the big two, Ethereum and Bitcoin, I think Pancake Swap moves right along with it. So cake is my Doge of the day.
We know cake. That is basically Binance's Uniswap, except not decentralized, of course. Monty, I want to throw one out as well. It's called Audius, ticker symbol audio. Lot of volume in this one. It's kind of come down ever since with the collective market. But if we are to see a bounce kind of off 31K supports or potentially that very similar level in ETH, we may get a run up in some of these alts, but not really having enough conviction to place money down on the bet just yet. Kind of waiting to see whether we break down for one leg down to say 27 or 28, or if, we kind of just consolidate here for a long time and, maybe this is the bottom. I don't have that much conviction yet, but we shall see.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people talking about Audius. I mean, that thing's trading volume has absolutely exploded. So that should be interesting to watch as well. I don't have a real Doge of the day today, but one thing I'm going to look into today, and thank you, CJ, for bringing that options trade to our attention. I'm going to look at similar options positions because, it makes so much sense given that Jon was talking about the conviction that you would have to make that trade. I do still have very strong conviction that Bitcoin will reach six figures by end of year. So making that sort of, longer term speculative bet seems like the right play right now, especially considering, in the interim, I'm expecting some more potential downside volatility. So I'm going to be exploring Ledger X this afternoon. I'll be doing that with the people in our community. And if you're not yet a member of our community, you can try it for just $1 for the first month at marketrebellion.com/try crypto. We got a pro charting service, 24/7, a community of traders from all around the world. We publish actionable trade insights with entries, exits, stop losses. We publish daily news insights. And last but certainly not least, we have an education curriculum that is growing every day. CJ's been adding some really awesome technical courses for you guys. So definitely be sure to check that out if you have not already.
Cool. And don't forget, if you're opening a Voyager account, if you fill in Rebel 25, you'll get $25 in Bitcoin. That's Rebel 25, pretty easy, in the promo code box. And why wouldn't you want something for nothing? You get that just for putting your name on there, and then they know that you heard about it on this show. So thank you very much. I hope you guys have a great day, Monty and CJ, and I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Yeah, likewise.
And thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a good one.